So today we're talking about some accessories that will help change the way that you get some shots and get some pretty unique angles. And that's these. This is a magic arm and a super clamp. And these items are pretty simple. So essentially what a magic arm is that you have this arm. When you loosen the part in the middle, it allows the arms to rotate. And then it also loosens the ball head on the end. But if you tighten everything up, then the arm is locked and the heads are also locked. And there's a variety of different magic arms that you can get. So this is one of the most simple ones. If you just loosen the middle, nothing happens to the middle piece, but the ends or the ball head will rotate. There's nothing too special about these ones. You just have a 1/4-20 on the end and then a piece of rubber just to hold the item, just to make sure that it doesn't slip off. And these are great if you're just gonna mount some light accessories, maybe like an audio recorder to your camera. These would be great for that. But if you're gonna put something a little heavier, especially if you're gonna mount like a camera on it, you probably want to go for one of these. So this is one by Small Rig, and I want to mention that the brand doesn't matter as much as the style of the magic arm. You can get magic arms from a variety of brands. Obviously, you probably want to go for a name brand, especially if you're going to be mounting something heavier and more expensive like a camera. But pretty much all of the ones that you find on things like Amazon, they'll pretty much do the same thing. So this is one by Small Rig. It still features the lever in the middle and it allows the two ball heads to rotate. But this one, it has a 1/4-20 with RE locating pins on the side. So this would just help make sure that if you're gonna mount something like a camera or something heavier on it, the pins make sure that this doesn't accidentally rotate and come loose while it's mounted. Next we have this magic arm. This is a longer one, so when you loosen it, it actually does get pretty long compared to the ones I just showed you. This on one end pretty much looks the same. It has a 1/4-20 with RE locating pins on it. If you have a device that doesn't have RE locating pins, these do retract. So you could use it with just the 1/4-20. On the other side, it has a NATO clamp on it. So you can mount it to something like a cage if the top of your cage has a NATO rail, or maybe like the side of it. So this would be great if you need to mount something with a NATO rail, and the other side is a 1/4-20. One of the ones I really like is this one from Digital Photo. When you loosen it, the gears in the middle are very big. So make sure that this will be able to hold something really heavy. And what I like about these is that this ball head at the end, this blue lever right here, if you pull on it, the ball head actually comes off, so it's a quick release. On this side, you have a 3/8 screw, but if you're not using 3/8, this one actually does collapse and becomes a 1/4-20, and you also have the retractable RE pins. And then this, it does require you to take it off to screw it into your device. But once you screw it in, let's say I take this monitor for example. So I'm just gonna screw this part in right here. Once this is in, you can press on this blue lever, and now this is stuck on. Press it again, it's a quick release. But just having a magic arm might not be enough. So maybe if I want to do a POV shot and I want to mount cameras on both sides, then that would work because both sides would have the 1/4-20 screws. Sometimes you just want to be able to clamp a camera onto another object, just like you saw in the beginning with the tripod shot. So this is where these come in. These are super clamps. Essentially, once you grip something in the middle, you can just turn it and it'll grip onto it, and these are very sturdy. This one is by Newer. It's pretty simple. You have a 3/8 hole here and then a 1/4-20 hole here, so you have two different sizes. And that's pretty much it. You just rotate it, clamps onto something. So you could just stick one of your magic arms onto the super clamp. Now you can clamp this onto something else. But if you're using something like one of these that have an RE locating pin, I like using one of these. So this is another Small Rig clamp. And these also have the same 3/8 and 1/4-20 holes, but this one at the other end has a 1/4-20 and an RE locating pin. So this means that if you're gonna use one of these, you can see right now that there's still a little bit of a gap. It's not screwed all the way in, but because of that RE locating pin, this doesn't actually turn. So obviously you wouldn't want to leave it loose like that, but it does make sure that once you do tighten it all the way, it won't accidentally come loose by itself. But right now I have a shoot with Jaden, so we're gonna see if we can get some more unique angles of the shoot that we're doing.
All right, what are we doing?
We're shooting my favorite accessory, the magic arm and the super clamp. These are quick release magic arms, so we're gonna start off by taking off the end, and then we're gonna stick this onto the super clamp. So now we have this side attached, and then we're gonna stick this side onto the other camera that I bought. This is the 24, but we're gonna swap lenses. I'm gonna put the 17 to 28 on, and we're probably just gonna go as wide as possible because these magic arms are not super long. So if we go wider, we'll be able to see more.
Show it.
Ta-da! So now we can clamp this on whatever we want.
That camera doesn't matter anymore.
I trust it.
No, I hear it too.
What's this?
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's some good clamp right there.
So we're mounting the tripod along this bag like this, and we're hopefully gonna clamp this camera.
It does move around a little too much.
Yeah.
What if we did it under here? Oh yeah, that's tight. It's a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
Realistically, I need it in the middle though.
Can we go here?
Could.
If we open one of the legs
take
or
this
something.
off, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just weak. Now you have a clamping area that you can use.
True.
Yeah, it looks like it'll clamp. And then like that. Bro, it didn't even touch the other rods. Yo! Alright, and then what happens is feed it through again. I should go this way. It's actually already tight without it.
And it's also safety because when the camera comes out here, there should be, even if the tripod slides, the camera will make sure that it doesn't slide through the straps.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless the straps break.
Okay, so you gotta clip it in like that. Looks good. Okay. And all the way now. I think the best bet is upside down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better. Okay, I'm at the widest right now. Shooting wider for these shots is way better too, because they need to be stabilized either in post or beforehand. Just having a wider shot makes it a lot easier to work with.
It's also more immersive.
Yes.
When you're too tight, you don't get enough of the background moving, so then it just looks like a normal product shot.
Do you feel me when I'm pulling it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's pretty stable actually.
Yeah.
I think it's digging into one of my lenses in my bag, but... Oh yeah, you're good. That thing is holding on. You're good.
Alright, ready? 3, 2.
What if I bend down like this?
You want to run down there? Good.
So we're gonna do one more shot here. We're gonna do a POV angle with Jaden's rig. So because his camera cage, because his top handle already has mounting points, you can skip the super clamp and just mount the magic gun directly to it. It'll be a lot more secure that way.
Good?
This is a great way to get POV of your shots with the rig.
Very convenient.
And it's not that heavy at all.
Oh yeah?
Look at this, it's so balanced.
Oh, okay.
Oh god, not balanced, not balanced.
See, so you can see perfectly well. We got this camera up here giving you a very cool view of what the monitor sees, and you can see me in the background just a little bit. How you feeling, Jaden? Yo, it's like a shoulder rig.
I don't
You
know.
have a normal rig and a shoulder rig.
What if I want to tilt my screen?
Just use one hand.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
So for that beginning tripod shot, I mounted my camera onto the tripod, and I'll show you right here. So for that one, I used the digital photo arm. So I first take off the ball head. Because it does have an RE locating pin, I mounted it onto the small rig clamp. Now the other side of the digital photo one, I take off the other end of it, and I take my camera. So at the top, you can see that the cage also has a 1/4 with RE locating pins. So I'm just gonna stick this one on. And now I can clamp it to this tripod. And the reason why I like using the digital photo one with the quick release is, let's say I had my camera on this, I would now have to try to mount my camera onto the tripod while the whole weight of the camera is still on it. So I like using this because now it's just a clamp. I can focus on making sure that the clamp is in the right place first, tighten it. Now this is stuck on. I can now mount the digital photo arm back on. Now I can attach the camera onto it and then make any final changes I need. Let's say I want to do a POV of the top of the tripod right here. You might need to shoot upside down, which is totally fine because you can just rotate it in post. You just want to be able to get the best angle possible. So let's say I did it right here. This, you gotta make sure that you really crank these down because you definitely don't want your camera to come off. And that's especially why I like this super clamp because of the RE locating pins. Because if I'm mounting my camera on this, especially if I'm going to be moving around, I don't need my camera just rotating by accident and then just falling over. And actually, I'm not in focus, so I'm gonna move this arm back just a little more. And that's another reason why these longer magic arms are great, because you can move them back. I would be careful if you're going to move them back about how much weight you're distributing, just because these things are not invincible. You are going to be putting a lot of leverage on the arm, so you definitely want to watch out for how much weight you're putting on it. And now if I just hit record, and I'll show you what the view looks like from this camera. And then when you're done with this, instead of trying to take off the super clamp and deal with all this at once, I can just press onto the lever, take off the camera first, and then if I want, I can take off the magic arm, and then deal with the super clamp. Having a magic arm and super clamp doesn't mean that you have to be doing POV shots. In this beginning sequence that I showed where I was just cleaning up, I wasn't doing any kind of POV. I just have a light stand on the side here, so I just literally mounted my camera onto it as a stationary shot. There's no movement to it, but it made it easier than having to drag out a separate tripod and trying to set up an angle. I can just clamp it to whatever I want. And then obviously a light stand, you could put a camera on it, but this could be useful for outside. Maybe you want to just mount it to like a fence or a building or like a pole. That would work for it as well. And then the last shot in the sequence, we mounted my camera right up here. I literally just clamped it to my pegboard. And again, that wasn't a POV shot. It just allows you to get some more unique angles where, especially for something like this, it'd be very hard to get a light stand onto it without it showing up in frame. So the magic arm and super clamp definitely help with that. And I just want to recap the different magic arms and what they can be used for. So one of these simple ones, these are basically like the most basic ones that you can get. These ones I probably wouldn't recommend unless you're really trying to go for something budget, but honestly these aren't that much of a difference in price. This would be something if you just want to mount like an audio recorder, something that isn't super heavy, maybe like a little microphone to it. But I would definitely look into getting the other ones just because they are more versatile. The Smallberg one with the RE locating pins, this one is super useful. A lot of like monitors and camera cages and stuff have RE locating pins, so this will definitely be better than just trying to use it with the rubber. But obviously this one's a little bit shorter, so this one might be just for like mounting a monitor on top of your top handle or something. You have ones like these where this is just a basic 1/4 with RE locating pins, but you have a NATO rail on this side. So if you have like a camera with a NATO rail on top, you can literally just mount it to that and then do that. And this will probably be more secure than threading on some screws, just because threads do break and NATO rails are pretty secure. And obviously my favorite one I'm using right now is the digital photo, just because it does have a quick release. But again, you don't have to look at these brands. There are other brands that do it. I believe iFootage also does a quick release one, so you could also check those out. And then for the super clamps, one of the most basic ones is just something like this with a 3/8 and a 1/4 on the side. If you are using RE locating pins and then you're gonna mount something heavier, I would definitely look into the ones that have an RE locating pin on the clamp. There are also some that are way more heavy duty than this. I'm actually using one for my audio recorder right now, but I'll throw it up on the screen. Those ones are way more durable. You can mount some really heavy things onto it, so those are also ones to consider. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, these items are pretty simple, and it's less about the item itself, it's more about once you start using this a couple of times, you get some really unique ideas on how to mount it, get some really cool POV shots, maybe just set up a camera somewhere where you normally couldn't, just to get some unique angles. And definitely play around with these, get creative with it. These shots aren't something that you would use every single time in every single shoot, but when you do need them, they definitely come in handy. Not even just for mounting your camera, but mounting accessories. Maybe you just want to mount like a monitor onto a light stand, something like that. They definitely do come in handy, so I definitely recommend picking up some of these. If this video is helpful, definitely give this video a like, subscribe for more photo video content, and I'll see you for the next video. Peace.